A girl is killed, and a father with a heart full of retribution sets out to even the score and make those responsible pay. Hello everyone, I'm Nick Iacubucci, here always at RealScreenReviews.com, and our next movie review is the actioneer Drive Angry. This film opened around the country on Friday, February 25th, 2011, and it stars in his second major movie in as many months, Nicolas Cage, Amber Heard, Billy Burke, William Fichtner, and the always credible David Morse. Drive Angry comes to us from director Patrick Lussier, a longtime editor in Hollywood that went on to helm many straight-to-video films and graduated to feature films with directing 2009's My Bloody Valentine, which, like this film, is also presented in 3D. He now unites with an Academy Award-winning actor to see if he can breathe any kind of life into a career that lately only seems to produce very poor features. Our story tells us of Nick Cage's Milton that has escaped from the fires of hell and damnation and has just one thing on the brain, and that would be avenging the death of his daughter and saving his granddaughter. He has a mere 72 hours to bring down the cult that has every intention of sacrificing his grandchild, and in order to do this, he needs the help of Piper, a very hot-looking waitress portrayed by Amber Heard. I guess Megan Fox was too busy right now. Together they start down a path of vengeance and destruction, trying to bring down villain Jonah King and his disciples, all the while doing their best to avoid the long arm of the local authorities. You can throw on top of this an over-the-top, straight-out-of-hell assassin called the Accountant, brought to life by William Fichtner, and his simple mission is to get Milton and bring him back. He's like the Tommy Lee Jones of hell, I guess. Big car chases then make their way into even bigger action sequences, and Milton will take all of his anger and rage and use it to succeed before his Cinderella clock strikes 12 and his chance for redemption is gone for good. Well, people, how many times can you say the same thing about every film starring Nicolas Cage? Let's see. Drive Angry is bad. This movie is terrible. This movie is horrific, and it's not even a horror movie. Once again, there's absolutely no story or plot line, and the dialogue that you do have to listen to could be considered anything except artistic ability. You know, I really don't like bringing up an actor's personal difficulties or problems into the review, but this time I simply have no choice. This one-time great actor has had so many issues with his financial situation and the IRS and the federal government, it has repeatedly poured over into his professional life. Basically, this guy will make any movie. He'll just make any movie no matter how good or bad, just as long as there's a paycheck attached to it. Now, I know the guy has to make a living, but he's left himself in a spot nobody wants to be in, and that's a situation with no options at all. You know, he walks where he's supposed to, he says what he's supposed to, but he's not acting. He's just wasting everybody's time. And you sit back and you wonder just how can Nick Cage every 5 weeks produce the worst movie of all time? You know, this takes me to the character of Piper, portrayed by the lovely Amber Heard in what could be the worst acting of her professional life, if not a career-killing performance. First of all, who wrote this character and why? And that would be referring to the term writer very loosely. Piper is a gutter-talking, trash-mouth, repulsive excuse for a female, and she makes the cast from the movie Platoon sound like choir boys. Never in my life have I ever seen a more beautiful girl reduced to something so foul and ugly over the course of just a few hours. There is nothing even remotely redeeming about the character of Piper, and that, like most of the problems with this project on a whole, come down to very shoddy direction and storytelling. In order to try and give it some length, Drive Angry is filled with car chases, graphic violence, graphic nudity, and graphic language, but not a graphic plot. The usually credible Billy Burke shows up as a villain that looks like he was left over from the Rick Springfield or Steve Perry days of the 1980s, and his overacting did nothing to enhance this movie on a whole either. William Fichtner is also just okay as a smooth-talking representative of Satan and came off to me as nothing but a cheap imitation of Aaron Eckhart's Harvey Dent from The Dark Knight. At 105 minutes, all Drive Angry proves is that Nick Cage is still on an active pursuit of bad acting and even worse movies. This is one sorry excuse for a film with an ending dumber than a 5-year-old could conceive. You know, I would keep going, but it's just so repetitive. As usual for a Nick Cage film, stay away at all costs. Only 1/2 of 1 star out of 4. And remember, people, I'm not always right, only when it comes to the movies. And thank you for your attention.